Welcome back to another Sunday night action, everybody. We're back at Zoom Racing League in our Division 1 race, and we are here in Japan in one of my personal favorite circuits, Suzuka. Mastering the flowing nature of Suzuka requires an enormous attention to detail. This is the only Figure 8 circuit in Formula 1 calendar and is regarded as one of the most technically challenging of the year. Not a lot of opportunity for overtaking, besides maybe for a 130R. We'll talk about more strategic point of views and setups with Nathan Doan in just a minute. And Suzuka offers 18 turns, but only one DRS line at the main straight for overtaking. I'm John Ranger with a very busy Sunday night with you guys. Racing, and we've got the Division 1 lads starting out on their outlaps. And while we go view a couple of those guys, Nathan Doan, welcome to the booth once again. What's the main storylines with regarding their standings tonight?
Well, yeah, obviously we got a lot of storylines with the standings, but one quick one and quite a big one, honestly, before we get into those standings. Obviously, if you look on the left side of your screen right now and you see all these beautiful drivers, you do not see today with us Chad Swindell, and that is because the man himself has been caught, you would say, for using cheats in the F122 game, which we do not support, of course, in this league. So he is gone, and in place for him tonight and for the rest of the season is Hudson Poole. So that is quite a big storyline, as we were looking forward to see if Chad Swindell could bring the championship fight to Cody Lawrence, but obviously now he will not be here to do so. And so now I'll get into the standings. So we'll go to the driver standings first, with Cody Lawrence still in the lead, and by still the big margin that we've seen all season long, ahead of Eric Carvalho, as it's been for the past few races. Then after that, Marc-Olivier Bastien in third place for Alfa Romeo. Great showing from him. Then transferred a little while ago now, so Quentin K in the Alpine is fourth. Chad Swindell is still on the standing sheet for me. Don't really know what's going on there, but fifth for him anyways. Sixth goes to Aston Martin team principal Aaron Allmeyer. After him, it's Ryan Noon, Jakub Karsiewicz, Cam Bourne, Luke Locklear, the Ferrari team principal, Marcel Paps in the McLaren, Dane Clem in the Alpine, Hector Ochoa in the Mercedes, Phil Goulet in the Alfa Romeo. Then Maxime Berlio is in a bit of an AlphaTauri sandwich with Magnussen Cube on the top and Kyle Blevins on the bottom. Logan Dukes, Wade Silva, and Major Castleman are the final three. We'll go into the constructors standings now. We have Mercedes leading by 27 points from Red Bull, from Haas, Williams, and Alfa Romeo are all in a battle separated by 3 points alone. After that, Alpine in sixth place is leading Aston Martin by 26 points actually. So good showing from the Alpine team, and Aston Martin kind of trying to build their way back up after some driver transfers made it a bit hard to just keep the points going. After that, Ferrari, a team also looking to build up once again, is 8th place with 91 points, very, very far behind Aston Martin. Then after that, McLaren and AlphaTauri are the rest of the teams.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that Eric Cavallo is currently serving a qualifying ban in the Haas, so him being P2 in the championship, if he wants to bring the fight to Cody Lawrence, well, that kind of hinders his chances given the quali ban, so he's going to have to be extra careful, and careful not to get too many penalty points, right? Overtaking is not very easy in Japan, and so he could find himself in tight situations, maybe pushing a little too hard for those positions to get back to climb up on the grid, and we might see incidents result of that. We'll see how hard Era's going to race and what kind of result it's going to give in the end. And also we've got a reserve driver of Freddie Rizal in the McLaren in replacement of Logan Dukes. And on my screen right now, you're about to see Hudson Poole complete his first fast lap, putting in provisional P5 with exactly the same time as our previous race winner, Dane Clem, in the Alpine, 128.964. So already Hudson looks like he's showing his form. Not too far behind from Cody Lawrence. Cody Lawrence is 2/10 ahead of Marcel Pabst, 128.6. Look at the McLaren being in P2. I'm kind of surprised when I read his name out in P2 so far. It's very early into the qualifying. We still got about 12 minutes and bits to go. But so far, we've got a couple first laps going, and we'll try to catch somebody else on their fast lap. Nathan will be able to walk us through a lap through Suzuka, which I find it such a fun track. It's not easy to overtake. I've mentioned that a couple times already, but it is one of my favorite tracks, and if you're a OG or a Gran Turismo player like I am, I mean this circuit has been part of your life for quite a number of years. Nathan, who is our guest tonight in regards to our weekly team principal?
Well, we have none other than Duncan McCamick himself. I will let him know that we are ready for him here. He's got a lot to tell us here. I'm going to ask him a lot of questions, a lot of big questions, because he's got, as I said, a lot to tell us. So I'll ping him now and just, yeah, because with what's happened and how little the audience may know of it, there's a lot to be filled in on. So Duncan McCamick will be here shortly to provide us insight.
And what's interesting is Duncan is not only a team principal for Red Bull, and we could ask specific questions to Red Bull, but he's also, for those who don't know, if you're watching and you're new here, he's the league manager, right? Duncan was the OG starter of Zoom Racing League, and so I might have some insights on what's upcoming for F123, if there's new rules coming in, new ways of doing things, new drafts. Who knows? We'll be able to ask him all the questions we want. And if you have a question for Duncan, and you're watching us on YouTube, well, hey, don't hesitate to ask one in the YouTube, and we'll try to be able to ask him the question from the fans.
Yeah, so we'll bring in the Red Bull team principal, Duncan McCamick, into the booth now. Welcome to the booth, Duncan.
Hey, how's it going, guys?
I'm doing well.
Absolutely fantastic, Duncan.
Yeah, for me, it's been better looking at my drivers sitting at 7 and 15 right now, but I guess we'll see how it's going to look for the race, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, maybe to start off on the light subject like that, but Hudson Poole already matching the time of the previous race winner, Dane Clem, in the Alpine he won in Belgium last weekend. You're seeing that as a positive view for him? Did he get a lot of time to practice since the ban of Chad Swindell?
Yeah, I'm just giving him a hard time. I mean, this is just we take our banker laps really conservatively. I think that Hudson could be on to start in the top 5 for sure. And then Jakob, if he could get in there and maybe like the top 12 or top 13, I think that'd be a good start for both of our drivers. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they're able to pull it off. But yeah, Hudson had a decent amount of time to practice. I think Japan and him just haven't necessarily been clicking this week. I don't think he's on for a win this week. I think we have a car that'll probably put us somewhere around a podium position. But I don't know. We'll have to see how it all plays out. Sometimes Japan can be crazy. We've seen a lot of safety cars and strategies going haywire over the past 2 divisions. So
yeah, and
it'll be interesting to watch.
Real quick before Nathan goes for his question, I assume Hudson Poole does not want to be starting next to Luke Locklear in Japan, does he?
Oh, I don't know. We probably refrain to comment on anything in regards to that. As far as I know, they're best friends. So,
Perfect. That's exactly the answer I wanted. Go ahead, Nathan.
All right, so obviously we've got a couple subjects to talk, so get ready for the Nathan Doan grill. We'll start off with, of course, the big one, Chad Swindell off for cheating this last week here. So I wanted to ask you of your insight, of course, if there was any part of, was it your side that proved the investigation? Or, were you the one that brought it up to the stewards, or was it found by someone else, maybe?
Sure, yeah. Actually, Mercedes brought the investigation upon Chad, and they did it through the stewards room. It got escalated to a moderator situation. Moderators didn't feel super comfortable making a decision with only 3 of us. And we decided to get the team principals involved in, another form of leadership within the community. And, we came down to a vote after a lot of discussion, and it pretty much was a runaway vote. I don't think that there's much backing against it. Apart from myself, to be honest, I'm still not sure that, Chad was guilty. I'd like to believe that my drivers were all racing cleanly and under good integrity, but, respect to the democracy, I guess, that we provided, and that was a decision that everyone came to, and we went ahead and had to get rid of him. It's unfortunate, but had to do what we had to do, I guess.
Real quick before you go move on, Nathan, I just want to note that Dane Clem just posted a 128.5, just a little over 1/10, and that is provisional pole for him, ahead of Cody Lawrence and Quentin K, who is just under 1/10 of Cody Lawrence and P3 currently. Just a quick update on the standings. Go ahead, Nathan, with your next question.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm assumed you're the one most involved with Chad at the moment out of anyone in this league. Do you know if he's going to try appeal his ban, or will he just try to stay out of it? Maybe he knows that he's a bit guilty.
No, I've actually been in contact with Chad. You're actually right. He's trying to appeal his ban, and I guess it's just a process that's currently still being debated among leadership throughout this past week. And I don't know. We'll have to see if he's able to, convince enough people. I think he's provided a fair bit of evidence. I don't think he's guilty after seeing what I've seen, and I guess that's your little tidbit from me. But he's got to convince a panel of other people as well. So I'm not just going to invite him back in on my standard. So I don't know. Maybe we could see Chad Swindle back in the future if he's able to convince a panel of judges in front of him. But yeah, at the moment, it is what it is.
And might I add,
But-
if you allow me, just unfortunate that F1 doesn't have an anti-cheat engine. Although, it's not
Yeah.
always perfect, the anti-cheat engine, but that would have given us maybe an extra tool to work with in such situations where maybe it's not always as clear as we would like. As we've seen in the past, for example, with a certain Abu Dhabi race, I'm sure you remember, it was quite obvious.
Yeah,
This situation was maybe more in the gray
a
area.
little less. Yeah.
Yeah, so the cheat engine, anti-cheat engine would have probably been nice from EA. Wink, wink, EA. Come on, give us something.
Yeah. So, but I mean, hey, Chad's gone. Well, at Red Bull, we just have to focus on what's in front of us. So, Hudson Poole, luckily was able to, I'm not sure if he wanted to take the seat, but as a friend of mine, he is doing me a favor, I would say, and he's returning to help us out for the final 3 races of the season. And maybe not going to be the Hudson Poole you've seen in the past as far as effort is concerned, but he's a talented kid, and I think he'll put up a good result.
Well, so far he just posted a top 5 time at a 128.798. He's just a little over 300s behind Quentin K. So not a lot separates him from P3 actually. Just a single tenth separates him from Marcel Pass in P3. Where it's getting really dicey is Cody Lawrence and Dane Clem fighting for pole position. There's a little under 5 minutes of qualifying here with a 128.5. 3, a little over 300s between Cody and Dane so far. Nathan, I don't know if did you have other questions for Duncan?
Yeah, so one last one. I mean, of course, you're the Red Bull team principal, but you're also the manager of this league. So I did want to ask you of any insight of maybe some new rules or new, just anything happening new in the server when this new game comes out, F123. Is there anything that we can expect, or is there still be thought of?
Yeah, I can tell you right now, penalty points are going to be completely reset. So that's one thing that is going to be new with the game is anyone who's dealing with any penalty point issues at the moment, he'll be, I guess, let off the hook. We're going to set everyone back to 0 and get everyone a fresh start, clean slate. It's a new game, so we're trying to give a clean take on that. But as far as new features and stuff, I'm excited. I've heard about red flags being a thing. I'm really excited to see some red flags in Zoom Racing League next season. And apart from that, I really need to get my hands on the game. We'll see. I would like to get creative and make it fun and interactive for the community. So we'll have to see how it plays out.
Absolutely. Duncan McCamick, team principal and leader and admin of Zoom Racing League. Thank you for your time with us.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, Nathan. It's the traditional weight in Division 1. 3 minutes 15 to go in this short qualifying session. We're going to play a little bit of game of chicken. Who's going to go out first and who's going to go out last to try to get the most out of the track evolution and through this track. Now, with the activities going on as well and the discussion we were having with Duncan, I'm seeing Kyle Blevins is going to be our first driver. So we're going to stay on cam with him. And when he starts his fastest lap, Nathan, if you'd like, I would like you to take us through a lap and walk us through how a driver needs to take this lap. And while he's out on his out lap, I'm going to ask you one question, Nathan. This is quite a technical track. I would say a medium sort of downforce works well in Suzuka. Are you going to prefer the higher setup of downforce, or are you going to reduce that downforce in order to put yourself in a good overtaking position down in 130R, the main straight, without no DRS, right? The only DRS we have is in the main straight. It's not always easy to do the overtakes there, but the main overtakes we're going to see is between turns between turns 14 and 15 down at 130R. So what's your take on that?
Well, so I'd say that I would actually just go for the safe wings, because if you have such low wings, then it's going to put more work on the tires at a track that already kind of kills your tires. Yeah, you just want to have the grip to get through corners such as the S's, 130R of course, which isn't too difficult for an F1 car after all, but just these difficult corners in Suzuka, there's a lot of, just a lot of corners where you need that extra aerodynamics and extra mechanical grip, so that is where I'm going to. I'm sure a bunch of these drivers go for the low downforce at today. We only really have 2 overtaking opportunities, and that is through 130R and maybe the first turn if you're getting a good run out of the final chicane or the Casio Triangle. I don't know if you saw that, but looks like Kyle Blevins just smacked the wall on his outlap. But whatever, he's going through the Casio Triangle now, and
Well, it looks like he's starting his quick lap, so I think you maybe had a little bit of desync on your end, and so here we go.
well, I just got taken out of the session, as I think a lot of other people did.
Oh, I'm gonna see. So far, it says you are, but we're gonna keep on the in cam on Kyle Blevins as he's going through the first couple of sectors, the S's here, and so it's important here. There's a lot of time that could be made here, but also a lot of time that could be lost. You'll let me know, Nathan, if you could take over for that lap here with Kyle Blevins, the AlphaTauri driver currently in P14. He's gonna try to push his time up or lower his time quick enough to be in the top 10 maybe, and you really have to be so aggressive there on the Degner curves, turns 8 and 9, and just under the bridge there. This is a figure 8 circuit, right? So this corner, this track overlaps itself through 130R. Down he goes on the long right hand banker of turns 12, and coming into Spoon Curve, the exit of this corner, turns 13 here, as wide as possible, and cutting in as deep and trying to get as much momentum as you can through turns 14, and to get as much top end speed as you can going towards 130R. And so Kyle Blevins looks like he's got a clean lap going there. He's got a clean lap, but he's a little 2/10 above his time, so I don't think he's going to improve unless he's lost a lot of time here. He's gonna cut really tight into the Casio Triangle, trying to make up time there. I don't think it's gonna be enough. Here he goes into the DRS, and that is going to be just a little above his time, so he does not improve. Kyle Blevins will not start faster than P14. Marcel Paps retired from the session, and so he is in P3 currently. Dane Clem sets a provisional pole of 128.2, 3/10 faster than Cody Lawrence so far. We're going to see where Cody Lawrence is. He's coming to the Casio Triangle now. We're going to see where he could put his time. Quentin K will go at 128.5. Magnussen Cube, what a lap for Magnussen Cube, 128.7. That puts him in P5. Oh, Cody Lawrence is going to the pits. He's not satisfied with his lap, essentially giving pole position to Dane Clement of the Alpine. And Cody Lawrence is going to retire his car. Who's left to go through? We've got Aaron Ottmeyer. I think he's the very last to go through. Actually, no, he did go. And Hudson Poole invalidated his lap, and so he will not be able to increase on his time. Who is left to go? Hector Ochoa, he's just about to go through. That's P11 for the Mercedes driver. And that is it. That's it for their qualifying. Dane Clem at 128.2. What a blistering lap. Ryan Newton, I completely missed him. The Williams driver puts it in P2 ahead of Cody Lawrence. What a performance from Ryan Newton. He's been really improving this season, and now he's starting to solidify his position as the top 5 D1 drivers so far this season. Wow, so here we go. Dane Clem, Ryan Newton, Cody Lawrence, Quentin K P4, Marcel Paps, a great lap from him in P5. Magnussen Cube, quite a surprise here, P6. Major Castman, Luke Locklear, both Ferrari teammates, 7 and 8. Aaron Altmaier in P9. Hudson Poole, the first Red Bull here in P10. Hector Ochoa in the Mercedes 11. Marc-Henri Bastien, we're used to seeing much higher than this. He's in P12. Maxime Beaulieu in P13. Cam Bourne in the Williams P14. Philemon Goulet P15. Kyle Blevins, Jakub Karsowicz, Freddie Rosell P18. Wade and Silva, both Hasses will be starting P19 and P20 due to Eric Cavallo's qualifying ban. All right, Nathan.
You know what time it is, man.
Oh, yeah.
You got your beer, I got my Coke Zero. I'm sure
Absolutely.
Yep.
Let's go. All right. Turn 1, Nathan. You got 5 seconds. Who's going to be coming out on the lead in turn 1? Is it going to be Dane Clem, or do you think Ryan Newton is going to go for it?
No, no, sir, Ryan Newton. I mean, it's gonna be Ryan Newton right into the first turn. He's just, he's got that confidence to go side by side into turn 1 and maybe even stick it around the outside. One thing I noted though, just for fun, is that we do have 4 Canadian drivers in the space of 4 grid slots, so
Yeah.
expect some apologies, expect some I'm sorries, and expect some maple cookies like the ones I'm sure you have near
Oh,
you
yeah.
at the moment.
Absolutely, sir. However, there's some French Canadians in there, so we might not say sorry very often. I could tell you that. We're going to see that with Philemon Goulet, Maxime Beaulieu, and Marc-Olivier Bastide. The red lights are up. The 5 red lights are going. And away they go. The Japanese Grand Prix is underway. Ryan Newton looks like he's got a decent start. He's going to be right up on the back of Dane Clem. Is he going to go for a dive here? It doesn't look like it. Dane Clem is going to come out in P1. There's a little bit of bumping here in the midst of the pack here. Behind Cody Lawrence and Quinton. A little bit of wheel banging over there. We've got Eric Cavallo, who's already gaining positions. Going at P16 over there. Kyle Blevins. Oh, Kyle Blevins looks like he's got an incident. I don't know if it's a spin or a contact. Eric Cavallo's up to P16 already. Dane Clem solidifying his position in P1. Ryan Newton, and who else has gone down? It looks like it is Cam Bourne and what is that? Is Hector Ochoa. So Hector Ochoa, Cam Bourne, Cal Blevins, and I think even Waden Silva. No, he's in the back of the pack. So we've got 3 drivers who had incidents, and that's the story of Japan, right? We talked about it earlier. Maybe we could have some safety cars going side by side, especially in sector 1s. Is super risky, and we've already lost out 3 drivers, potentially to damage. Let's go look real quick at what the strategies are for them in regards to tires. Everybody's on hards. You could expect that in F122. However, Luke Locklear, Eric Cavallo, P13 currently, and Cam Bourne, 3 drivers on the medium tires. We're used to seeing Cam Bourne on the medium tires by now. But Eric Cavallo, P20 to P13 and only 1 lap, and he is still going.
Yeah, so I was just taking in all that action. Actually, we have someone out of the race. That is Jakub Karsu, who is out. Is he into the wall? Yes, he is.
He's
lost
on
the track,
yeah.
actually.
Yeah, that should be a full safety car. Is that a virtual safety car for now?
Safety car.
I'm
shocked.
virtual
safety car with the car on the track. You know how it goes here.
Why not?
Who do we have with damage? That's Cam Bourne with a broken front wing end plate. Freddie Razel, of course, he is involved in the incident. Going into the pits now, we have also Kyle Blevins and Hector Ochoa, who were in an incident earlier, all the way back behind the pack. So I'll take us through the action that happened through the S's here, and it looks like it's been replaced already, but there was some sponsorship boarding that was absolutely taken out by a spinning Williams of Cam Bourne. Just losing the traction, I think, unless there was contact between him and Hector Ochoa. But yeah, he just flew across the track, almost into the barrier, lucky not to get any wing damage from that. It did look like he picked up some afterwards, though. Then, know where Hector Ochoa could have gone. It looks like an overtake has been made from the 2 Ferraris already. Hudson Poole also looking to get involved with this. Hudson Poole a bit too close to Luke Locklear on the track, a bit more close than for comfort. And it looks like they've sorted it out, and Hudson Poole will not go for a move, but he has been overtaken by... that looks like Marc-Olivier Bastien, and he is completely around and off the track. So, and he's coming back now, but it looks like he just lunged through the spoon corner on Hudson Poole, and that has cost him very greatly indeed. Eric Cavallo looking to make a move down the inside of 130R, decides to back out of it. Now, both Aston Martins are running in a pretty good positions, but every time I've talked about them at all, they have, well, at least Maxime has done something special for us. So I will refrain from talking about them for now. Will there be any overtakes being made? Yes, there will. It is Luke Locklear on Magnuson Q for P6 into turn 1. He has made that move very easily on the medium tires.
Oh, there's contact! Oh!
From him. By who?
By Eric Carvalho and Aaron Altmaier. Eric Carvalho tried to go diving on the inside of Aaron Altmaier, who closed the door on him. I don't know how Aaron even kept, and Luke Locklear looks like he spun around too, and there's a bunch of spinning all over the place. Looks like Maxime Beaulieu also is around, and he's having issues here as well. Look at him go again! Oh my goodness! I know it's a figure eight track in Japan. I was not expecting our drivers to be doing figure eights on the track either. And we've got so many drivers losing out their tail ends and also getting drive-through penalties. Cam Bourne and Freddie Rizal were caught speeding in the under safety car. And I think Maxime Beaulieu is just not having a good time right now. And he needs to just recover and hope for a safety car maybe to bunch up the group, because right now he's fallen so far behind the pack. I've not seen so many incidents so early in a race this season in Division 1. Am I wrong, Nathan?
No, I'm just sorry. I'm taking it all in now.
So much going on.
No, I opened my mouth about Maxime, and I was
course.
literally talking about it. He didn't even last 4 corners. Oh, I'd take full credit for that. My bad, Maxime.
Broadcaster's curse.
His teammate Aaron Altmaier has been overtaken by. Did he say that Luke Lockett just spun earlier? Because he's definitely making up those positions that he lost now.
Yeah, he's driving super aggressively. He did lose a couple positions. As you notice, Eric Cavallo at 4 laps went from P20 to P8, which is absolutely spectacular in Division 1. I'm wondering if there's really such a difference in performance between the hards and the mediums currently.
Yeah, I mean, he's going incredibly quickly at the moment. Luke Locklear does look to just be a bit faster in the straights and in the corners maybe as well. Just keep on looking at the Delta. He's going through a lot of tricky corners right now where the medium tires will definitely help him a lot more than the hard tire runners will be experiencing at the moment. Corners such as Dunlop Curve, where you do have to take a little bit of a lift. That lift is just a tiny bit smaller than it would be for the hard tires. So do we see a dive bomb maybe from Hudson Pool into the hairpin?
He's trying to go into the hairpin. He's going to go side by side with an Aaron Altmaier. He's going to try to get the better exit. Will he make it stick? So far, Altmaier looks like he's got the better top speed. You've got a little bit quicker on the ERS, and Hudson's going to be a little bit more patient about it. He's going to try to do the overtake down there at 130 yard, but that was nice side-by-side action by both those drivers who kept it clean so far.
Interesting that it goes into 3rd gear for that corner just to get a bit more rotation through the corner, and it hasn't helped him too much, honestly. Looks like the Aston Martin is just pulling away from the Red Bull at the moment by a very tiny margin, but he is safe through 130R. Maybe do we see a dive bomb through the chicane, and I wouldn't be surprised, but Hudson Pool does stay behind for a little bit longer. We see Dane Clem take the fastest lap of the race, but look at this run that Hudson Pool has gotten on Aaron Altmaier. He goes around the outside and surely.
And he's got DRS as well, and so that is the overtake overdone for him. And there's been another overtake being done on the front of Major Castleman on Magnussen Cube going down into turn 1s and 2. And so Major Castleman puts his Ferrari in P6. Magnussen Cube loses 2 positions from his P5 start.
Yeah, so Major Castleman, I mean, when he was at Alpine, and we just saw him struggling so much, but now look at him. He's in Ferrari, he's in a brand new car, and he's in 6th place at the moment, better than his teammate. Something could be said about that. But at the moment, it looks like his pace is actually quite nice. It looks like maybe he can even start catching up to Marcel Paps, and eventually maybe even look at a podium position for now. At the moment, we'll just go at the front right now. So we have Dane Clem and Dane Clem ahead of Cody Lawrence by 1.5 seconds. And in my opinion, I mean, Dane Clem has kind of just come out of nowhere with his pace. And he's won the last race, I think, and now he's looking to potentially win another one. He's got lots more battery than Cody Lawrence, the same as Ryan Noon, a bit more than Quinton K as well. But just great job from the Alpine driver, great job from both Alpines actually, as they are 1 and 4 at the moment. So it would be a great haul of points for the Alpine team.
Yeah, and so far, you know, Quinton K, I think we saw him have 1 or 2 races where it didn't go the way he wanted it to go, but him sitting in P4 and looking at a potential podium there puts him in a way better position than we've seen him normally. We know this is the kind of pace he's able to give. And real quick, through our winners and losers, as he gains another position, Eric Cavallo, lap 6, 13 positions. He won from P20, and he's now sitting in P7. And he's out over the rear of Major Castleman. He's trying to set him up for an overtake. His medium tires got definitely a great amount of traction for him. And why not give a shout out to the other Haas driver, Wade and Silva, who started in P19. So one didn't have the opportunity to qualify. The other had a horrific experience in qualifying. But during the race, look at that Haas go. Overtaken 6 drivers for P13. And, just had a little bit of a wiggle there. BroadcastersCurse.com right over here, guys. But Wade and Silva in P13, Eric Cavallo P17, and climbing still. Those medium tires are doing work. Is that going to come back to bite them in the rear when they do their strategies for the hard tires? Speaking of strategies, Nathan, when should we expect our drivers to go into the pits?
For the hard tire runners, I would say lap 15 at the latest, maybe lap 13 at the earliest if you want to make an undercut. Then for the medium tires, it shouldn't be too much different. Maybe lap 12 at the latest for pitting. We'll go on board with Eric Cavallo actually, because he's closed up to Major already. Looks like he may be in for another overtake.
Yep.
Maybe I've said it too early because you see that Ferrari just going away ever so slowly. But look at the pace that this Haas has got down the straight line. He's going down the inside for turn 1, and that is going to be very easy for an overtake on Richard Castleman. He's got the medium tires, and someone has spun, I think.
Maxime Beaulieu.
Yeah, it's Maxime. But just as I said that, there was an overtake being made, I believe, by Luke Locklear back into 8th place, back past Magnussen Cube. Once again, the other medium tire runner in the top 10 at the moment. Both doing very well at right now. Luke did have a bit of a spin earlier, so we do wonder, would he be in a better position right now? But I want to see if the two Ferraris will swap positions, because earlier they did, and that was kind of right after the virtual safety car had ended. But right now, would it be the right strategic move to swap positions, you think?
It's a tough one because I think Luke Locklear's got better pace, but how long is his medium tires going to last against those hard tires? I think both drivers on complete different strategies. Given the fact that Luke Locklear probably has a better pace and the better tires currently, I think Major Castleman should probably let him go just before 130R and maybe take advantage of the DRS that they could get from there. Maybe they're going to do it just as Locklear gets the DRS. But I assume they're speaking to each other and doing the planning of the strategy, but let's just hope they don't give us a typical Ferrari strategy and make things work, because we've seen Ferrari and their strategies in real life have given us a couple head scratchers, I'll say it that way.
See if they swap positions on this straight, and it doesn't look like they will. Yeah,
it looks like they're racing.
Stay behind for now. Yeah, it looks like they're racing at Ferrari today. And we saw that back all the way back into 2022 British Grand Prix, where it did cost him a little bit, I would say. Charles Leclerc being left hung out to dry in the end. But I don't think that these two will fight for too long if it's clear that Major Castleman just doesn't have the right kind of pace to stay ahead of Luke Locklear. I mean, these two are an absolute power duo here. I've seen them work together since the Alpine days of 2 seasons ago, and they were just two phenomenal drivers, basically just both team principals at Alpine, just helping all the drivers do anything they need, having their setups at all times. Just absolute perfect job from those two. 7th and 8th now, I'm sure they're capable of much more, but running now where Major Castleman is kind of losing time against Eric Cavallo, I do think it is the time to swap positions for Ferrari. Major Castleman going a bit wide through Spoon, but we'll just have to wait and see.
It really looks like good racing, because Luke Locklear is full on the battery right now against Major Castleman. Going through 130R, the really fast left-hander. Look at the speeds they're going. Just over, close to 315 kilometers an hour, 190 miles an hour. And we saw there was a bit of an opportunity. I don't know what's going on with them two, because Major Castleman looked like he was giving the outside line to Luke Locklear, and Locklear could have dive-bombed him, but he's being really careful about it, and I think here's going to be the overtake. And yeah, Major Castleman is not slowing down for him whatsoever. So both of these Ferrari drivers are racing, and Luke Locklear goes a little bit too wide onto the curves, and he does it again. Maybe he's going to get a couple warnings there for track limits, and barely is able to keep his position on Major Castleman. I think if Major wanted to fight him a little bit more, he could have, but they're aware that they're teammates, and they're trying to keep it clean. And now it's up to Luke Locklear to try to run away with it, and hope that Major Castleman is able to maybe slow the drivers behind him down a little bit. But the driver behind currently is Magnussen Cube, and he started P5. He's currently got in P9, and he's got a Red Bull all over his rear. Hudson Poole is trying to climb up on the positions here, currently sitting P10. And I think Magnussen Cube so far, his race is going a little bit backwards, despite having great starting position on track in P5.
Yeah, so right now something I've noticed with the Ferrari of Major Castleman is that he is very, very slow through high-speed corners. If maybe we go on board with Magnussen Cube through 130R, we can just see how much Major Castleman loses through the high-speed corners onto the battery goes Magnussen Cube. Won't gain too much for it. I'm sure that Luke Locklear will be keen to give his teammate the DRS advantage just to stay ahead a bit longer. And maybe it wasn't the best showing there, but when Luke Locklear was behind him, it was just an absolute, it was right on for Luke Locklear, and Major Castleman just lost so much time through there. But now the Ferrari does have DRS, as does Magnussen Cube, which will help him in the future. And at the moment, like you have said before, it looks like the two Ferraris are very keen on racing today. Like, look how Major Castleman is just faster through some of these lower speed corners, attacking the curbs, both of the Ferraris, but Major Castleman is just able to take that slightly bit tighter line than Luke Locklear is, giving him a bit more edge through these corners. He's slightly better through Dunlop curve, but he has lost a bit of time to Magnussen Cube through the entire SS section. And yeah, we'll just have to see. We will also soon see the pitting of the medium tire runners. So that is some things to look forward in the future.
Yeah, absolutely. When you look at Luke Locklear being 9-lap old with mediums, I mean, his tires are probably starting to be screaming at him a little bit. They're going to be due to be pitted and changed for the hard red tires in a couple laps, probably around lap 12 and 13. That's when we expect them to do the pit strategy. Major Castleman's hard tires still got a lot of life into them, and so it's showing in the first corners and first sector through the S's. He's got the better grip right now, and I'm wondering if they don't have maybe a little bit of a difference in downforce as well. Locklear seems a lot quicker through the straights, and that allows him to protect his position as well while his teammates got DRS behind him. But speaking of that, Major Castleman's got himself in a good position. Even with DRS, look at him. Locklear stays ahead. Honestly, Major Castleman wanted for that position way harder. He could have gone for the ERS overtake there, but you could tell they're playing the safe game, and eventually you're going to have a switch between those two Ferraris again. I don't think Luke Locklear's got the pace to really stick ahead of Major Castleman for very long, but I don't think they're necessarily slowing each other down, although they are driving in dirty air. Major Castleman is, especially in Sector 1.
Yeah, so it looks like just the difference between the lines of the two drivers. It looks like Major Castleman takes a lot, and like I said earlier, a lot tighter of a line through the first sector. That helps him get a bit of an edge to carry through this entire middle sector here. And he's done a very good job of just maintaining the pace that he needs to stay ahead of Magnussen Cube, but also stay behind Luke Locklear and not lose out the DRS advantage. Sooner or later, we will see Luke Locklear pit.
Yeah, that's going to be something that the medium runners, this is what we're looking at right now, right? Locklear and Eric Cavallo are the two remaining drivers who are on a proper medium tire strategy, and Eric Cavallo climbed all the way down up to P6, and he's all the way all over the rear of Marcel Paps, currently in the McLaren, who's quite a showing, I've got to say, for Marcel Paps in P5 there. But so far, it's hard for Cavallo to keep on making those overtakes currently because the drivers in front of him all have DRS. And there's a bit of a DRS train stemming from Cody Lawrence in P2. And there is positions being changed. And who did... Oh, so Hector, look at this. Hudson Poole. That's an interesting strategy. Hudson Poole, I don't think he was liking his hard tires. He was a hard tire runner, lap 12. And there he goes into the pits, changing for medium tires already. He's going to go 15 laps on those medium tires. What do you think, Nathan?
Well, it's definitely an interesting strategy. He does want to get past these three drivers as Luke Locklear has a moment, and Major Castleman goes past him, and Luke Locklear goes out of the track and slams into the barriers. No damage for the Ferrari driver, though, and that is absolutely not what you want to see for the Ferrari driver. He just had a bit of a moment out of the downlock curve, got a bit too much on the power, couldn't keep it together, and spun around. Luckily, he did put the back into the barriers, so that does make it a bit harder for it to smash the car. Still squirming around just a little bit, but he's in 15th. Surely he pits now. It looks like he may even be experiencing some lag. But that is, yeah, look at that. That is not a good showing from Luke Locklear. And now Hudson Poole is looking at the driver that he was looking to undercut, but really he's just right behind him. So Hudson Poole's plan is working so far, but can't say it was exactly due to the pit stop strategy. It was Eric Cavallo pits from the medium tires. I think we will soon see Luke Leclerc pit as well. Caleb Evans making it past, I forgot his name, Wade and Silva, I think. And
Yep.
that was the 130R, so great job from Caleb Evans. Looks like Aaron Altmaier is looking to just make a charge on these two Alfa Romeos ahead of him. He was previously overtaken by Marc-Olivier Bastien the previous lap. He's just looking to stay within the DRS at least. Wants to stay within the top 10. Not that it gives you, well, not that it keeps you in the points, because you get points for every position in this league, as long as you finish, of course. But yeah, he's doing a great job of just keeping in the top 10. And right now in the top 5 is kind of a boring story, as we've seen many times before. I mean, Dane Clem has really pulled off even more of a gap than he had last time compared to Cody Lawrence. There's an Alpine in between them, I believe. Actually, no, so I was looking at that wrong. So Freddie Razzle is about to get himself lapped by Dane Clem, and that is maybe going to help Dane Clem a little bit, just give him a bit more of a DRS advantage if he does get to that gap on time. If not, then he'll just have to pass him on a different section of track. But he is having a brilliant race, is he, Dane Clem, right now?
Yeah.
And Ryan Newton actually has the 3-second time penalty, which could drop him all the way down to 5th. So that's the story for the top 5 at the moment.
Yeah, so far top 5 where we're a lot of names where we're used to seeing. I think maybe the current surprise of the top 5, I'm going to call it, is Marcel Pabst. Really a fast driver. We know in qualifying, sometimes during races doesn't really go the way he wants to. But as it is now, Marcel Pabst is putting himself in the top 5. And we got a trio of drivers going through the pits with Caleb Evans going in a little bit too fast. 5-second time penalty for him in the AlphaTauri. That is a very unfortunate mistake for him. And so we got Filemon Goulet, Hector Ochoa, Caleb Evans, all 3 drivers going into the medium tires. And so maybe a little bit of undercutting on lap 14 for the hard tire runners going out to the mediums. We're going to see when the other hard tire runners go for their pit strategies. And that'll be it. And I mean, you got to be really careful all through Sector 1, obviously going into the mediums. But I'm thinking about also the guys that went from mediums to hards. You're going out there on cold hards into an S section, left and right. And you got to make sure that rear, you don't lose it. Because we saw with Luke Locklear, that made me spin my Canadian maple cookies all over my keyboard. I'm going to have to clean that later. Locklear had quite a crash and even took a little bit of air. And yeah, that was... those tires, if they're too used or maybe too new, you don't want to lose rear in Sector 1 going through the S's, that's for sure.
Yeah, something I want to highlight right now is Hudson Poole is actually going to find himself ahead of everyone that he's trying to undercut if he just keeps this time gap down to Eric Carvalho. And he's on the better tire at the moment as well, so he's going to maybe even be looking to add a P6 finish, I believe it is, P5 maybe. But right now, he's overtaken Luke Locklear. He's overtaken, he's about to overtake, should I say.
He's got 4 drivers in the pits right now.
4 drivers in the pits, so we'll see how many positions he does gain, does Hudson Poole. So here, a bit of a moment out of the Casio Triangle, but he goes down the main straight now, and it looks like he could be in for, what could it be? Is it still P10 at the moment? Lots of drivers ahead of him, though, to pit, so he may be looking for a serious advantage here tonight. And we might actually be looking at a bit of battle, Eric Carvalho and Marcel Pabst. Marcel on the cold medium tires, Eric Carvalho on the nice warm hard tires. Let's see if Eric Carvalho can pull it off in a place where he normally wouldn't want to, and that is in the Dagny curve. He goes onto the battery now. Will he look for the inside? No, he won't. Knows better of it. But I've seen him go for a move into the hairpin, so maybe we'll see something similar from the Haas driver. Just go on the battery. No, doesn't look like he will be making an overtake here, and that is the case exactly.
It looks like he's got better rotation out of the hairpin. They almost got into the back of the Marcel Pabst here, and I think Marcel's still looking to get the temperatures on his medium tires. Eric Carvalho's going to try to take the advantage of the fact that he's got DRS on him through Sector 1 on the main straight. And he's not too far behind. Look at our Hudson Poole, who's gained a lot of positions earlier due to his pit strategy, and now he's gaining time on Eric Carvalho. I think we'll see some Some nice play going there. We're just going to look at a little bit of a pit stop race we're going on over here. Dane Clem, Magnuson Cube does not pit, but Cody Lawrence, Ryan Newton, and Major Castleman are pitting currently. Wade and Silva also going to the pits, and this may come into the play with the strategy of Hudson Poole. We've got Cody Lawrence, Ryan Newton, who's out already, and who is coming in flying? It's Quentin K, who's going to go right in front of Ryan Newton. So Ryan Newton finds himself P5 with the 3-second time penalty currently. Where is Marcel Pass? A little bit further behind. So Hudson Poole finds himself in P8 behind Eric Cavallo. And that is, I think, basically it. I'm thinking maybe Magnuson Cube is the next one to be overtaken, I think, by Hudson Poole, since he was down to P9 earlier. But he's staying a little bit longer on the hards, trying to gain that advantage for him. And Dane Clem as well. Well, he's 13 seconds clear. So I think by the time he pits, he's not going to be losing too much time to his rivals. And he's going a little bit more on the battery as well, as we just seen. So keep an eye on him when he pits. Maybe he'll have to fight for his P1 back. We'll find out in a couple moments here. The last two drivers that got to pit is Dane Clem and Magnuson Cube. And let's not forget Cam Bourne in the back in P17. Well, unfortunately for him, not a good showing given the situation with early on in the race. And so Dane Clem into the pits. Maxime Beaulieu and Freddie Rizal also have got a pit, but right now they're not even part of the race. They're practically being overlapped. And Magnuson Cube is coming in. So keep an eye with Cody Lawrence. He's coming in through the final chicane here. And Dane Clem already had his new tires. So I think the Alpine's going to be far ahead of him. Definitely is going to be able to overtake Magnuson Cube here. And so where will Cube find himself when at the exit of the pits? Let's look at it with him. He's going to be behind Hudson Poole. So just as I mentioned earlier, he's finding himself behind Hudson Poole and maybe at a vulnerable position to Philemon Goulet, who's coming in at quite hot speed there. And there's an overtake into lap 1 and turn 1 by Major Castleman. That was a beautiful camera angle from there. Major Castleman overtakes Philemon Goulet for P9. And so that's a Ferrari with quite some good pace. Both of the drivers are showing good pace. Major Castleman and Luke Locklear, just unfortunate for Locklear's moment earlier, showing a lot of pace and overtaking here in Suzuka.
Yeah, so a battle we really need to be looking at right now is the battle in between Quentin K and Cody Lawrence. They were fighting a lot earlier when Cody Lawrence got out of the pits and he was struggling quite a bit, separated by less than a tenth even. And Quentin K was looking to make this an Alpine 1-2, and at the moment he still has lots of potential to do so. But right now, Quentin K just needs to get a bit closer through this straight. We'll see if he has any straight line advantage. He does go on the battery, but still he is not gaining on the Mercedes, so that might be a little insight into how the Alpines are running aerodynamically. And so we'll see if he can get any closer in the DRS. I've noticed that Quentin K takes quite an interesting line through the Casio Triangle, going very deep for the first one and then leaves himself quite tight for the second one, which is eventually the one that matters most onto the straight, and that's not really helping him at all. Down to around 5/10 is the gap at the moment, but I don't think Cody Lawrence is going to be just letting Quentin K catch up to him like this.
A couple drivers catching 3-second time penalties. Ryan Newton, we've talked about him earlier. Real quick, there's Philemon Goulet, who just caught a 3-second time penalty for track limits. With Cobb Levins with 5-second speeding under in the pit lane. And Wade and Silva with 3 seconds, and Freddie Rizal double 3 seconds. And he's also lapped, if I'm not mistaken. Currently sitting 26 seconds behind P18, and so it's maybe not the best showing for Freddie Rizal, who at some point was a D1 race winner, who had a lot of pace in him, but looks like tonight maybe the pressure's getting to him.
Skill issue. So we have a spinner, and that is Luke Locklear here. Yeah, not a great race since he had that moment through the curve he's about to go through right now, taking it a bit slow as he knows to do, and still has a bit of a moment through the corner. And it's really gone downhill for the Ferrari driver. He hasn't lost any positions, but he's lost so much time to maybe even a recovery race. If anything, we'll have a safety car, and that will help him a lot, but it just looked so unlikely. We saw one, I believe, last night, but we've seen virtual safety cars so far through here, and even then it was a car completely destroyed on track. So I don't know what it takes to get a safety car out here in Suzuka, but it's going to be a lot. It's going to be a huge crash, if anything. Right now, Quinton K is still in the same gap behind Cadron. So it looks like we had an overtake between Major Castleman and Magnuson Cube, maybe fighting over the position a little bit. We have a
Oh, safety car. What happened? Is that
Whatever
Locklear?
it was enough, and I saw Luke Locklear have a bit of an off, but there's no
Oh,
front
Locklear
wing
has
on
no
that.
wing. Are you kidding me?
What
A broken car facing the wrong way, no safety car. Now we got a wing on the track, and all of a sudden, with 10 laps to go, hello strategy and pitting. We've got a full-on safety car. Will the drivers go for at this point? We've got a couple drivers on fresher tires than others, and Luke Locklear dives into the pits. Oh, he's got to be careful not to go over a little too fast there, and he got it. Okay, we've got ourselves a new race.
Hold on here. So, interestingly enough, Freddie Razzle has a puncture on his rear left tire, and as he went through that curve that he's just exiting now, he couldn't
look
turn
at
it
that.
in and broke his front wing. So, what is going on right now? I mean,
This
Freddie
race has
Razzle
gone
making
absolutely bonkers, Nathan. What's going on? Okay.
I don't know. Sit back, eat some of those maple cookies, because
Oh,
Freddie
yeah.
Razzle.
We
I
are
don't know if
loving this in the broadcast booth.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just he's ran those tires too far. Maybe he's. I don't know, because I've never seen an incident where he spun
Oh,
around,
my
drifting it
goodness.
through not Tokyo but Suzuka this time.
Yeah, why not Japanese style? And that is interesting. 16 laps on the mediums. You'd expect the tires to, have not good grip. And I don't know if it's a situation of running over Luke Locklear's. Oh, and he's gone. He's done. Oh my goodness, Freddie Rozelle. That's going to be an extended safety car. He just barely tapped the. I bet he just tickled that throttle with a big toe and sent his McLaren right into the wall. And turns. I believe that turns 9 and 8. Wow. All right, we got another DNF here, and so that is full sector flags. And just look at the position changes currently, because I know there's a lot of drivers thinking and looking through their pit strategies. Not all the big runners did not go for the pit change with 7 laps to go. We're expecting possibly a proper 5 laps of racing by the time the safety car is done. I'm expecting it to go around laps 22. We'll see about that in a minute. But all the middle ground, so Hudson Pool all the way down, they're all going for pits for fresh tires. Definitely going for fresh mediums once again. Nobody's going to try for the softs. We don't expect the softs to last or be very performant. Oh, thank you, Maxime Beaulieu. Thank you. Nobody's going for the softs. And guess who goes for the softs? Maxime Beaulieu. He's going to try. He's thinking these softs could hold up 5 laps of racing. And maybe he'll be able to climb up some positions and have to defend it after on. And that will be a ballsy move for him. But I mean, why not? With the race he's got, he's been given a golden ticket back into the back of the field. Why not go for the softs and try to gain as many positions as possible? I'm having a moment of deja vu. I remember a Division 1 ZRL race where this kind of situation happened exactly, and a Maxime Beaulieu on soft tires gained many positions and then lost many due to post-race penalties. And so, I don't know if that's something we'll see again. But so far, still the race leader and probably feeling pressure for the very first time this race, Dane Clem in the Alpine. And what a beautiful engine noise, shall I say, with a slight sarcastic tone.
Yeah, whatever you say, man. I'm just. What just happened? I mean, we had Luke Locklear just having a bit of a moment, no front wing for him, causing the safety car, I'd assume. And then I go through all the drivers just to see if anything else has happened, and I see none other than, of course, it was Freddie Razzle with a puncture, and I see him just go off into the barriers. So, very interesting turn for this race. As he said, Dane Clem could be feeling some pressure now. He's got newer tires than pretty much everyone other than all those who pitted. Big name who did pit, actually, from 7th place, it was Hudson Pool, and he's lost quite a few positions from that. But he has got the best tires on the grid, other than, of course, Maxime Beaulieu. So, I think safety cars should be in this lap, because I think the rest of the pack will catch the field. But right now, the only hard tire runner is Eric Cavallo. And with the pace of this man, I mean, we've seen him go from 20th to 6th now. And we'll just see if he can hold that position at the moment. He's got worse tires than everyone else, as I said, but
Yeah.
I think maybe he could I think maybe he could pull this off. I definitely don't think we'll be seeing him in an interview booth, which may be a blessing and a curse, but yeah, we've got quite a bit of action coming into these final stages of the race. We'll see if the safety car is in this lap. At the rate that Maxime is catching the field, it looks like it definitely will be in this
Yeah,
lap.
usually just about 130R before the end of Sector 3, we get the message of safety car coming in. So it's going to be a close one. We're going to have to keep tabs on that. We might get the message, but I'm not sure if it's going to happen as the safety car crosses that line. So everybody's kind of weaving around and trying to make sure, but I think it'll be too late for the safety car to call in. So we're going to have a proper full lap of weaving and keeping the tires. No, safety car's going in right now. Okay, very short notice. My goodness. Let's go on board with let's go with Quinton K on board with him and see how Dane Clem launches the race back up. I think Eric Cavallo is not in the best positions for racing, and he's gonna have to defend really hard. And then Clem, oh, he does not get a good start. Cody Lawrence jumps him. He takes P1. Dane Clem completely muffs it up, and he's gonna be P2. And Quinton K is gonna come in right up behind him. Two Alpines on the podium currently. They're gonna have to be careful. And Eric Cavallo is dropped down to P13, and he's gonna get overtaken by his teammate as well. What's happened with Era? We're gonna need a replay on that. A lot of action already. Again, wheel by wheel, we're going to see a couple drivers go in Sector 1. But the main story here, Cody Lawrence catching Dane Clem sleeping and gets P1. And Dane Clem's going to have to fight hard to get that position back.
Yeah, lots of wheel-to-wheel action now through the Degner curve. Goes Aaron Altmaier and Hector Ochoa. They make it through just okay. Lots of action happening through the first corners. We see Eric Cavallo with no front wing now, and he's very far behind the pack. Cody Lawrence absolutely destroyed Dane Clem on the start. So now he's in the lead by 6/10. Will we see maybe a last lap shootout for the lead of the race? No, well, we don't know yet. Luke Leclerc has been overtaken by Cam Bourne, and Cam Bourne is looking to overtake now Kyle Blevins down the inside of Spoon Curve. Will he make it stick? Yes, he will, almost forcing the AlphaTauri off the track, and he has done just that, and now that leaves Cal vulnerable to Luke Leclerc, who's now on the battery, and he may even look to overtake Cam Bourne here. Look how close he's getting to the back of the Williams. Does he go down the inside for 130R? Yes, he does. Will he make the move stick? Yes, he does.
Oh my goodness.
And he is past the Williams, and oh, the Williams goes for a dive bomb down the inside. He's forced his way back into P14, and he's finally made that move stick. Does Kyle Blevins now go for an overtake on Luke Leclerc? Maybe, but actually he's being overtaken maybe by Maxime Berlier. So into turn 1 now. We go on board with Aston Martin. He's gone down the inside of the AlphaTauri, and he's made that move stick. What a bunch of overtakes from just one little group of drivers. And kind of settles down then. Do we see any spinners through the section? Everyone very close, making a bit of contact. Actually, I saw between a couple of cars. Hudson Poole making while trying to make a statement. But right now, there's just so much going on. Take it away.
Absolutely incredible racing so far. I would say clean, but we missed an incident with Eric Cavallo, so really unfortunate for him, going from P20 all the way up to P6, and now he's got a pit for a change of wing and new tires, and here down he is in P18. Marc-Olivier Bassin side by side with Hector Ochoa, and it is going to be Marc-Olivier Bassin who's going to take it away from him, and there he goes in P10. The Mercedes driver is not going to let him have it for free, though. He's going to be fighting and possibly trying to go side by side. Doesn't look like he's going for it, and so Marc-Olivier is going to be looking maybe forward at his teammates. So we've got a couple teammates, one behind another. We've got Quinton K. Well, I should say one behind another. Dane Clem is far ahead, and he's going to be sticking into the DRS zone of Cody Lawrence. That is something we're gonna have to keep an eye on, because Dane Clem, he had a terrible start, and Cody Lawrence took advantage of that. However, he's staying behind him and fighting for position. Hudson Poole, looks like Hudson Poole just got away with it on Major Castleman. He's going to maybe make a move. Is he going to go for a dive bomb down in turn 1 on Marcel Paps? No, he doesn't. And Magnussen Cube just made a double overtake. I just saw that in the back. Magnussen Cube looks like he went right through Major Castleman and Philemon Goulet, and there's an incident in the back. It's Marc-Olivier Bastin, and he is spun around. Doesn't look like he's got damage on his wing, but there's a lot of positions lost.
Well, there's other cars around too.
There's
Aaron Altmaier and
oh my goodness.
And we have a side-by-side battle between Luke Locklear and Kyle Blevins now. Looks like Luke will be the victor of this one, and he is.
Oh!
But oh, what a switchback from Kyle Blevins actually. Down the inside of that corner makes Luke
No
lose
way.
traction. And what an overtake from Kyle Blevins. I saw what happened actually between the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari. So Luke Locklear did try to concede the position to the Alfa Romeo of Philemon Goulet. And when he was doing so, he just slowed down enough where the Alfa Romeo of Marc-André Bastian just went into the back of him and spun around. And then somehow, out of all of that, the Haas driver and Aaron Allmeyer just got caught up between that. I don't know if they made contact between each other or just got spooked by the Alfa Romeo in the middle of the track. But what action? Do we maybe see a battle at the front between Dane Clem and Cody Lawrence? Back onto the battery goes Dane Clem, but I think he knows that the best chance he has is to do it right at the end, so Cody Lawrence has no defense whatsoever to put up. And about equal on the battery, except 10% difference actually. So maybe we'll see something there. A bit of a battle still between Luke Locklear and Kyle Blevins. Does Luke go for the inside? No, he doesn't. Takes it a bit better though through the corners, and it looks like Kyle Blevins will stay ahead for now. Everyone else though keeping it very clean. The closest people we have on track is actually Ryan Newton and Quinton K, very close together, about separated by less than 2/10 actually, through corners that is very hard to follow through. So great job from the Williams driver, who does have a 3-second time penalty, which at this time will drop him down so many positions. Talk us through a bit more of that, John Ranger.
Yeah, looking at the 3-second time penalty in Division 1 is time penalties are absolutely harsh. Multiple drivers have those 3-second time penalties. Kyle Blevins also got a 5 seconds. I believe he's got maybe 8 total. So when he pitted, he had to wait his 5 second to be counted down before changing wheels. So that's why he's so far back. And with a 3-second time penalty currently, we've got a beautiful battle. So Dane Clem and Cody Lawrence, there's about 3/10 and separating them, and we're keeping an eye on them. However, in the upper mid pack, we've got Hudson Pools trying to make a position on the McLaren. He goes a little bit wide, but does he make the move stick? He does. He is currently P5 on Marcel Paps. And he's going to try to keep making positions between Quinton K down to Magnus and Cube. These guys are driving really closely together, and they're trying really hard. And Ryan Newton is also putting himself in a position with the DRS and the ERS. Is he going to go for the outside move into turn 1? Quinton K goes a really interesting defense there and protects himself from Ryan Newton. Really interesting top-end speed from that Alpine, but that will leave Ryan Newton quite vulnerable, because look at this. Hudson Pools right behind him with over 50% ERS battery on his rival, and Luke might see Hudson Poole setting himself up for potential P4. Will he be able? Oh, he's gonna go into the inside, or maybe spook Ryan Newton into making a mistake, as we've seen earlier with Kyle Blevins and Luke Locklear. Hudson Poole is on the rise currently. He is getting his Division 1 World Championship form here, and he is fighting, and he might be looking at a potential podium. A little bit of a tap there on the rear of Ryan Newton, but no incident from that. Newton is absolutely vulnerable at this point. He's got no more battery. I'm thinking Hudson Poole makes the move work in 130R, and maybe a final lap lunge on Quinton K. We're seeing moves being done further down the line. Philemon Goulet taking a position from Hector Ochoa, but we're going to keep an eye on this current battle with Hudson Poole. He's going to return to ZRL and rising potentially to a podium position. Dane Clem. Oh, is Dane Clem making a position? He's side by side with Cody Lawrence. Down into the final chicane he goes. Will he have the better exit here? And he does. Who's going to have DRS on this one? It's going to be Dane Clem on the Alpine. And there's also moves being made with Hudson Poole and Ryan Newton side by side. Hudson Poole's in P4. Oh my goodness. Marcel Pass also in P5. I can't keep up, but let's keep up with Cody Lawrence. We're on lap 27. It's the final lap of racing. Cody Lawrence just lost a position to the Alpine of Dane Clem out of the chicane into the main straight. Quinton K is going to try to defend it against Hudson Poole, and Marcel Pass and Ryan Newton are all over it. Magnus and Cube is in there as well. I don't have enough cameras to show you all the action, everybody. We don't have the F1 live TV service, so you could go on board with a driver of your choice. I'm doing the best I can. Nathan, I can't breathe.
Hold on, we got a battle in between Hudson Pool and Quinton K at the moment, so close together, and this will be probably the final battle of this entire race because Cody Lawrence is completely lost out. But look at the exit Hudson Pool has gone. He's so close behind the Alpine. He knows that these are one of the final overtaking opportunities. He's got 38% battery. Quinton K 22% battery. It's going to go down to 130R or maybe even the final chicane as Ryan Newton gets overtaken by Magnus Cube down the inside, and now Hudson Pool is looking go side by side with Quinton K for the final podium position, and he's gotten the move done on the straight. Will Quinton K try to fight that one back through 130R? It looks like he's going to go try around the outside. Does he stay around the outside? Yes, he does, but he's forced off the track, and Hudson Pool goes off the track, gets a 3-second time penalty. This will be a podium for Quinton K, and the one thing he was trying to avoid was the penalty, but Dane Clem has won the Japanese Grand Prix. Cody Lawrence right behind him. Quinton K goes into third place, making the makes it Alpine 1-3.
That 3-second time penalty just kicked Hudson Pool from P3 to P8, and Ryan Newton is now P10. And so I'm wondering how if it's the wheel side-by-side wheel that made him go off track a little bit. But what a performance from the Red Bull. Dane Clem, a second win in a row in the Alpine, won in Belgium, wins the Japanese Grand Prix, was caught sleeping from the safety car restart by Cody Lawrence, makes the last lap overtake, and goes with the win. Cody's gonna be at P2, and P3 is officially going. Who was that going to? Was that Quinton K? Yeah, it was P3 going to Quinton K. So we got a double podium for Alpine, and I know in the chat we've got Ethan Patel, the team principal, who is very active in the chat. He is one happy team principal. Ever since he made that trade, so far he has been on the winning side by a landslide.
What an absolutely amazing race from the end of the safety car period just to absolute action each lap for even very important positions. The lead of the race, P3, like P5, even some midfield battles. Ryan Newton getting overtaken by a bunch of cars. Just absolute banger of a race at the end there. And I'm thinking for the celebrations we get Quinton K, Dane Clem, and Ethan Patel all in for an Alpine group interview. But let's go through the finished results here. We have, of course, Dane Clem winning the race ahead of Cody Lawrence. After that, Quinton K, of course, taking third to make it an Alpine 1-3. Marcel Pabst in fourth place, really gaining a lot of positions from that 3-second time penalty. Drove a great race fourth for him. Madison Cube in fifth. Hector Ochoa somehow got himself into sixth place. After that is Major Castleman in the Ferrari, did a lot today. After that, Hudson Pool, after getting his penalty, could have been fourth, third, I think it was, but now he's down to eighth. After that, we have Philippe Mangoulet, great race from him. Ryan Newton also had a penalty, dropped him down to 10th. After that, we have Maxime Berlioz. Finally, after what a race from him. I mean, going onto the soft tires, bit of a gamble, but he's brought him up to 11th from what was like 40 seconds behind the back of the pack. After that, Camborne, Cal Blevins, Luke Leclerc, that is Michael Bastian, Aaron Altmaier. I still forgot the guy's name. And then after that, Eric Cavallo,
Wade Silva,
and Wade Silva. There it is. So that is the end of that. I mean, wow, what do you have to say about it?
That's not the first time we've had Japan bring us a last-minute safety car with some wild restart. If those of you who watch us regularly and who have a long memory, we remember a moment between Hudson Pool and Luke Locklear at the very front of the pack, and I believe that gave the win essentially to Cody Lawrence. I think he was racing back then in Japan near the end of season 6, or was it season 5, one or the other. So Japan, being the track that it is, and in real life, I'd say in real life, and man, in Zero we have so much action, and it is hard to follow everything going on at once. And we saw a spectacularly uprising of Eric Cavallo all the way up to P6, and then quite a very sad downfall, being very last. And same thing with Wade and Silva. So the Haas's had a bit of a two-time kind of race situation there. But man, do the Alpines, both of those drivers under peak performance, do they bring the racing game on? And Quinton K, Dane Clem, it'll be fun to talk to them and see why were the Alpines on absolute fire? They were skipping along the track, really difficult to follow. And I think Cody Lawrence also saw that it wasn't as easy as it was. And now from Chad Swindell, I should say, maybe we should be looking at Dane Clem as a potential, maybe not this season, given the fact that he's coming a little bit late. Looking at the points real quick, I don't know if I could pull them up just before we got the interviewers coming in. Nathan, I'm just wanting to look at the points. Where is Dane Clem? Okay, yeah, he is pretty far behind. So I don't think, with the final races he's gonna go up and challenge Cody Lawrence. However, F1 23, new season, no penalty points. I think he is making a name for himself, and we might see a three-way battle. Hudson Poole, Cody Lawrence, Dane Clem. I'm not going to rule out Eric Cavallo from that. Man, and even Ryan Newton, like he's P10, unfortunately for him because of the penalty. But he's solidifying his position as a top 5 driver in Division 1 so far. So I think the end of this season and next season is going to be absolutely spectacular. Nathan, I think we're going to get ready for our P3 interviewer with Quinton K. I'll let you take it away.
Yeah, we're actually going to bring in both of the Alpine drivers
Let's
here
go.
for a little bit of a team interview. So here we go. We bring in P3 Quinton K, and then we're also going to bring in Mr. Dane Clem, the race winner. How are you feeling, boys? Alpine 1-3.
Great. I had a little bit of a panic attack, I'm sure, after that safety car restart. I was overthinking it, trying to coordinate with Quinton to get Cody under pressure, and it literally just screwed us over. So, but thankfully my tires were fresher because I pit one lap later than Cody, and I was able to make it happen. I tried 2 laps before I actually made the move to do it then, but I just kept getting a bad exit out of the chicane over and over. And so going on to the last lap, I just saw that I'm not going to try to do the same thing a 3rd time in a row and bottle it again. So I'm going to do something different. And so thankfully I was able to go down the inside, a little bit of wheel banging, but I think it was for the most part okay. And not only that, but I had the inside for the chicane, but then I also was just far enough back to get the DRS too, which was crucial because if he would have got the DRS, I think he would have stayed ahead. But yeah, that was a crazy race, sure.
Real quick, we're going to bring in P2 because apparently you guys were having a nice conversation. Going to bring in the man that, I'm not going to say this in like a offensive way, but he kind of destroyed you on the safety car restart. Of course, it was Mr. Cody Lawrence, who had, like I said, a great safety car restart, got him into the lead for a moment. But man, Dane Clem just had the pace today, Cody Lawrence. What do you think about that?
Yep. He had me. Thank you for pulling me in with him, because I was having a nice conversation with Dane and Quinton. But no, that safety car was pretty much the only chance I had to win. That restart basically made me look like I actually had the pace to win, because Dane was well stronger. You saw that, was that 18, 19 lap green flag run before? He had it won. So I would say if I had somehow won this race, I would have stole it, because Dane was just stronger. Congrats to him. Quentin, good job on the P3 as well.
Nice.
Dang it! 1 lap away, maybe, but I tried.
Man, yeah, crazy race.
We'll start talking to Quinton K here, obviously the P3 man, who was fighting with Hudson Poole down to the very end. He pushed you off the track, actually, in 130R, one of the final corners of the race. I mean, talk us through it. Were you really stressing out there? Because you were really fine for around the outside of 130R. You even had the confidence to do that. I mean, just great showing from you. Talk us through it, though.
My heart was pounding through my chest. I was just losing my mind. I knew I wasn't going to be able to keep Hudson behind, so I just tried to ease off the throttle. And then he went in front of me, and then I got in the slipstream, and then went side by side all the way through there. And then he got a time penalty, and then snagged the P3 off of him.
Well said. So obviously I brought you all in because we have a Alpine 1-3, and 2, you guys were having a nice conversation, I hear. So right now with Alpine having a 1-3 and you guys are what 6th in the constructor standings. Right now, what is the goal at the end? Would you say for Alpine? You got a great pairing, honestly. You've jumped. I think you've even jumped Haas for 3rd place. Do you think you can take it any further from there, or what's the plan here?
Honestly, I was talking like a week back that P3 in the constructors was the goal. But if we keep having races like this, then it could be more. But right now, P3, if that's it, that's great.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, just want to say congrats to Dane for getting 2 wins in a row. So
Absolutely.
Honestly, I'm gonna say this. Just kudos to Cody, because I think the only reason I got this win, just like the last one, is because I had the gap to start with. If it was him in the lead on the start or him right behind me at the start, I think the pressure would have got to me. But having the gap, the cushion to kind of cool down is, I think, what really enables me to keep it together for the whole race distance. But yeah.
Can I say one thing here?
Yeah.
One thing here? Don't sell yourself short, man, because you had the best race pace today. I don't think it would have mattered if I lined up P2 there. Like I wasn't making any inroad. You were pulling away from me even once I was to P2. So like, you well deserved that one. There's no doubt in my mind. Like that was super strong, strong race pace.
Quentin with the setup again.
And Japan.
Yeah.
But no, well done to Dade and Quentin. I'm happy for Hector to get a P6 out of it. He's had a tough season, so he stepped up today and got himself some really solid points. And I'm looking forward to this this another week break. Seriously, I am got some stuff I can work on, but it'll be nice to have a little bit of time to think about it. So
Yeah, and
Like
that
I
was
said,
maybe the
congrats
next
to
question
them.
I wanted to bring to you guys. Having you all three here. Next weekend, Memorial Day, so it's going to be another break. But Austria and Monaco, Austria with the sprint race, Monaco being the legendary track that it is, it's all going to be qualifying. So why not go for full qualifying?
Yeah.
Are you focusing equally on both of them? Are you going to practice one more than the other? How are you guys preparing for those two final races? I'm going to start with you, Quentin.
I think I'll probably focus Austria more, just because Monaco, it's probably one of my favorite tracks, and from last season, I felt like I was really strong there, and unfortunately I got taken out. But yeah, Austria with the sprint race, I'll probably focus that one more.
How about you,
Would
Cody?
you like
How
me
do
to
you
go
think
ahead
about
next?
it? Yep.
Yeah, there you go. I preempted you. Now, week by week, honestly, Austria first, then Monaco. I definitely have two minds. One, we got the point situation in D1. It gives a shame for Era today. I'm not sure what happened to him, but I don't know if he got caught up in an incident or if something happened there, but it looks like something happened to him. That's going to give a bit more of a points gap there. Then we also have the constructors, combined constructors, sorry. Well, I can say about D1 as well for true about the constructors, but combined constructors just trying to consistently get some good solid points. I think would have been nice to win this one for both counts, but just in terms of preparation, really week by week, so I don't go too far off on a tangent here. But week by week, I'd say Austria. I think with the sprint race, I'm hoping that'll help me because I feel like I've got some race pace. I just need to find a way to unlock it truthfully. And Monaco is Monaco, where the chips may fall, quite simply. So that's where I'm at.
How about you, Dane?
Well, if Monaco is Quentin's favorite track, he's going to have to carry the weight for Alpine because it is one of my worst tracks by far. So honestly, I might start practicing Monaco before Austria. Austria is a pretty straightforward track. Really just got to get the traction down out of turn 3, and if you can do that every time, you're golden. So yeah, I'm probably going to start working on Monaco next week, but because that's going to be a real struggle for me. But yeah.
And if I remember correctly, Quentin, correct me if I'm wrong, was that your debut racing in Division 1 with ZRL? Was that in Monaco where you were potentially headed for a podium before an incident?
That is correct.
Absolutely. So I think you're going to be wanting a little bit of retribution from that situation and put yourself on the top side of the podium. I'm sure you'd like that.
Absolutely. Redemption.
All right, boys.
The wing.
All right. Well, thank you guys for your moment, your time, and the interviews. We still got 2 races to go in the next 3 weeks, and a lot of practice and a lot of time to put in there for your practicing. Congratulations again, double race winner 2 weeks in a row. Dane Clem, congratulations to Alpine for their double podium 1 and 3, and Cody.
Thank you. Thank you. You
Alright.
guys have a good night. Thanks for
All right,
having
thanks,
me. I
Cody.
appreciate it.
Thank you
good
guys.
job, boys.
Thank you,
Take
Dan.
care.
Thank you,
Take care,
Dan.
everyone.
Wow.
Yeah, really interesting. What kind of race was that? That first half of race was something, and then the second half of the race was another thing, and those final 3 laps was another thing. Man, I'm searching for my words now, but if this is just a sign of things to come, and I think as the end of the season is approaching, you can tell that some of these guys are racing for their reputation, they're racing for their teams, they're racing for their teammates. Cody regularly mentions Hector and his performances and him fighting in the mid pack of Division 1, which is not easy, not an easy position to be there at all. Given that the skill level of Division 1 is really, really tight, all the way from P1 to P20, in my opinion. So, Nathan, what are your expectations? Let's say for Austria, it's a precursor to the season finale. We know Monaco chances will be played in qualifying more than anything else, unless there's some incidents. How will Austria be such a game changer for these guys, including a sprint race?
Well, I mean, the sprint race is going to cause a lot of chaos. We saw last season in Division 3, sprint race was where most of the chaos was. We had people spinning across the track. Marino goes flying off the track as well. Actually, no, he hit a car. Just a bunch of action could happen here in Austria. It's a very good track for overtaking, but that also means there's a very good chance of lots of wheel-to-wheel banging. So, going to see a lot of action from that. Of course, that is not the jewel of the F1 calendar, though. It is, of course, Monaco, which will be our finale because we do have a new game coming on the way, which is on June 16th. So, Monaco is the finale on June 11th. If I remember correctly, yes, we do have a week break in between this race and Austria on June 4th. So stay tuned, everyone, for that. I mean, this is a race I would say to watch over again because not only did me and John Ranger do a good job, but it was just a great on-track action. It was great on-track action here, so just worth watching again. Definitely a highlight of Zoom Racing League's history in Division 1.
Yeah, and I think Austria with the DRS and the fact that it's the shortest track coming on the F1 calendar, we're gonna see a lot of pace, a lot of racing, and I'm assuming a lot of overtaking. And given that the it's gonna be such a battle, I think we're gonna see wheel-to-wheel action, more incidents, more safety cars, and that'll be part of the story, I assume, for the rest of Division 1. But the only way to really know is if you stay tuned and watch. And if you've not done it already, don't forget to like and subscribe. Follow us on our channel. We've got our Discord links as well in our Steam streaming descriptions as well. You can join the Discord and get all the goody chats of Division 1 and people posting some of their highlights or some of their lowlights, as I've seen Raz putting up on the general chat there with his flat tires, spinning safety car causing kind of situation there, and so much more as well. Nathan, I'm going to thank you once again for, you said it earlier, let's say outright and proud, quality broadcast. I think we have a lot of fun, you and I together, and I'm looking forward for next weekend. I'll be in the middle of a move, but I plan on being here nonetheless for actually no, we're on an off week next week. It's perfect. So
you got 2 weekends to go.
Absolutely. So I'll be here for Austria with you once again for another great race in Division 1. To everybody else watching us, whether you're in ZRL or not, to our drivers, to our team principals, and everybody who is also helping out with the league. And I'm seeing a lot of tickets being put in as well from Division 1. For our stewards, so it's gonna be a lot of fun tomorrow as well. Thank you all for making this league run the way it is and as fun as it is to describe for us broadcasters as well in Division 1. It's really great at this point. Nathan, thank you for being here with us tonight, and for everybody else watching, I'm gonna bid you good night and see you in 2 weeks.